Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Running Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Big Mike, and I am joined, as always, to the Shawn Michaels, to my Triple H, Sped Rock. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man? Hey, how's everybody doing? Happy New Year. I'm doing all right. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and a great New Year. Thank you for guys tuning in.
Definitely happy holidays to everyone out there in YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever else land you may be watching us. We appreciate it. And it's the first show of 2025.
Oh, man, yeah.
Currently January 2nd. The new year was yesterday. Hopefully, like Sped said, hopefully everybody had a great new year, a happy holiday. Hopefully you got to spend some time with the family. But we will kick it off the same way with Lady Alpha every day. Welcome to the Running Wrestling Podcast, your home for all things wrestling, hate-free and drama-free. Join the discussion, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are watching this, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell everybody you know. Tell them to come join us. Anybody that you know that likes wrestling. And if you don't like wrestling, maybe we'll turn you on to it. But we do have a big special show today. It is the first ever run-in awards. Most everybody has done run-in award or done awards, not necessarily run-in awards, because we're the only ones that'll do that. But everybody waits or does awards before the end of the year. They do them a couple weeks before, and I've never understood why. So we actually wanted to wait until after the new year. So we made sure every single show was covered if necessary. And boy, was that a good idea, because the last AEW pay-per-view that was last weekend was pretty awesome.
That was fantastic.
And could have had some match of the year candidates on there. But we will wait to see before we get to match of the year if any of them made the list. But we can't go any further before we start talking to, and yes, Happy New Year. Good evening, Stampede. What's up, Davey? What's going on? I see you changed your name on here to Stampede instead of Davey. Makes me understand who you are a little bit more. And plus, that'll connect everybody to who you are on X. Usually that's Davey in the comments. You have, let's see, who else is in here? The first one. Nate is excited, and if you follow Nate on X, you will know why he is excited. Because I am apparently his Twitter crush. I may be a little red today because I'm very flattered. I appreciate that. If you know what that is on X or Twitter, then congratulations. If not, then you just think we're all weird, and that's okay too. It's 2025. We don't judge.
No, that's just funny.
Yes, follow Chairshot Sports on all platforms. Chairshot's media group is something that we are a part of. You will see a lot coming up on the Chairshot Sports Network. Myself, John, Anthony, Jesse, Vinny from Suds Media, Jesse from the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker, and John Anthony. We are doing a lot of big stuff coming up. I can actually talk about it a lot now since he has actually put it out there that it is official. We will be doing a lot of stuff. You will see some interviews with former wrestlers, former and current wrestlers, I should say. A lot of different stuff. So if you are on YouTube or on X, go follow them. You can go to my page and look up at the banner, and you will see Chairshot Sports Media Group's X page. Everybody is there. So definitely appreciate the shout out for that, Nate. We have Brett in as usual. Appreciate it. Let's see. He was so bored. Everyone wrestling YouTube was taking a break. Yeah, they tend to do that. Holidays and stuff. We did actually take a break last week. So we hope everybody had a great holiday. When I know we did, we've talked about it off air. We both had a very good holiday. We were excited to be back with you at 2025. We will talk about some other stuff that we have coming up for this show specifically, not just the network that I mentioned earlier. Yes, including the run-in that was from the Chairshot Sports earlier. But we can't talk about the new year without wrapping up the last year. You saw we put out a video last Saturday before the pay-per-view itself for World's End. It was a really good pay-per-view. I loved it. Some very good matches. So I guess I'll start there. What was your favorite match of the night?
Right. All right. So let's talk about how the Continental Classic went. Okay. And how that threw a swerve in my book. I thought Ricochet was going to the finals, and it never happened. You thought Will Ospreay was going to win it, but Okada kept it. I thought MJF was going to lose to Cole, and you got it right, right? I thought a lot of things were going to change, but some of things stayed the same. The only one I really don't agree with was the Okada one staying the same. You know, I didn't agree with that at all. I feel like the Continental title needs to go somewhere else. But hey, it was a great pay-per-view, top to bottom, and I enjoy this tournament that they do for the Continental title. I enjoy that. And that was a great match, but I'm just enjoying these tournaments that are going on. You know, I like it. I enjoy it a lot. So those were my
Yeah. AEW definitely knows how to put on a tournament.
they do.
Not that I dislike the quote unquote tournament of that the women have had on WWE for the US
Yeah.
and Intercontinental. But it's kind of just thrown together. Both of them were the same. I would have liked them to have different setups.
Yes.
You know, not both of them just a bunch of triple threats leading into the two matches and then the final. Would have liked one of them to maybe have been just singles matches. Maybe the Intercontinental title maybe have just singles matches.
Yeah.
So it's more of a workhorse thing instead of having the triple threats. But I do like the Continental Classic has given us some great matches. One of my match of the year candidates
Yep.
in Ospreay and Fletcher, that first match.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
dear
man.
Lord, was an amazing match.
Yes.
Which is why I'm glad we waited till the end of the year to have an award show so I can mention that on this show as an award show because it deserves to be mentioned with, you know, a lot of the other match of the year candidates that have happened. But yeah, it was a great pay-per-view. I agreed with most. I did pick Will Ospreay. I don't mind with everything going on with Omega that let Okada keep it to kind of
Yeah.
separate that. You know, Fletcher and Ospreay, you know, having another match doesn't really need a title per se.
No, I feel
So
what you're
I
saying,
get
yeah.
that part. And they want to build up Okada for when Omega comes back as being the best tournament wrestler. I mean, the narrative they kept through it, I understand.
Yeah, no, I get it after watching it and seeing Omega come back and everything. Like you were talking to me about it. I definitely get why they did it. It's just that part doesn't really bother me either. If you watch a lot of old TNA did it too for a while. They no-selled.
And we've talked about it before. I mean, there's a point where it becomes too much.
Yeah, you're right.
But every
yes.
now and then, like I'll go ahead and mention one last night on Dynamite that I watched. The only one that I really didn't like was how Hangman no-sold the orange punch, like 3 orange punches in a row.
Yeah,
and he's just like,
no,
you know what,
correct.
whatever, I'm going to do a buckshot. And like that gets on my nerves because that's supposed to be a finisher.
Yes.
Even for Orange Cassidy, it's supposed to be a finisher. And it just kind of discredits that. Like some of the other stuff, I don't mind because one, it's Will Ospreay. It's going to happen in an Ospreay match, and I know some other people do it too. But as long as it doesn't get into too much,
no.
But actually, go ahead.
I do like the direction that they're putting Hangman. This psychopath that he's in, it's fantastic.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was a really good angle after the match. I just wish that he didn't blow up. I mean, as much as we've talked about Orange Cassidy and how I cared for him for a second, and now I don't anymore. I still don't want to see his moves get just discounted like that. You know, if that's supposed to be one of his finishing moves, then it should mean something.
No, I feel that. I do feel that.
Yeah, it was a good pay-per-view. Actually, Nate's favorite match was really the only decision I really didn't agree with. I was hoping, I said MJF would win. I figured it would happen, but that just means that there's going to be more in this feud. And I kind of want this feud to end and let them kind of separate out and do other things. Now, Dynamite has said otherwise that they may actually do that. I hope so. But the way they ended it just made it seem like it was going to continue on. So I didn't like that part. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they let them go off. Dynamite does kind of tell you that maybe they will with that MJF promo last night, which was amazing. And then the Undisputed Kingdom promo, which was not so amazing, but it was there. So maybe they'll actually get that. Anything else from World's End that you want to call out other than just it being a great pay-per-view overall?
I just liked it. Some of the stuff I was going to talk about with World's End intertwines with some of the things that go on with the awards. So I'm going to hold off on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will shout out because I don't think I mentioned in any of our awards, the match between Mercedes and Chris Statlander. one of the best women's matches of the
That's
year as
what's
well.
that's
Being
yeah.
a candidate for that as well.
That's what was
And
going to
just
be in
those
one of
two
my
together. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, you don't have to spoil it. I know it's going to be there, so I just wanted to talk about it there because I know I didn't bring it up in later on, so I just wanted to make sure that I got to shout that out. And before we get into the awards, I will shout out one more comment from Brent that I know will warm Sped's heart. Um,
I'm
so
older than him too, though. Yeah, I'm just a whiter version of him. What's up?
So yes, Adam Copeland did return at World's End. He
He's
actually had
Cope.
a trios match. He is now just Cope
He's
instead of
rated
Adam
R
Copeland.
superstar Cope.
So and he's talked about that for a while. A lot of people are like, "Well, why name change now?" If I'm not mistaken, he did an interview of about a year ago or something, and I'm sure Stampede will know more about it because I actually think I've seen him mention it. He mentioned
Yeah.
that he'd been wanting to go by Cope instead of going by Adam Copeland just because it's a lot.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely don't mind the name change. It'll take some getting used to, just like Adam Copeland took some getting used to from Edge. But I like it. It's the one syllable, one word kind of thing that he's had most of his career, so it fits that better.
Yeah. It doesn't bother
Uh,
me.
and he will probably be one of the next challengers for the world title, even though there are a lot of them now that are coming through.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the two-time AEW World Champion. Crown me. Yes, I did win the predictions. The only match I got wrong was the Continental Classic final, where I thought Ospreay would win over Okada. I did get that part wrong, but everything else I got right. It felt really good to actually do something after the last one, the debacle that was the NXT, where I didn't get a single match right. But I am
I got
the
one.
new AEW Crown King. That also means that there is no more Emperor of the Run-In because the cup goes back into storage until somebody retains that and gets every title of the Run-In to get that cup. So we will have to see in 2025 if we have an Emperor again or not.
Yeah, I will get my Emperor status back.
We'll see. All right, moving on to the awards. You can see the nice little awards show. I feel like we should have some special music, but we don't. So congratulations to everyone. Make sure if you're in the comments, there's a few of us watching now. If you're in the comments, let us know what you think of each category. Obviously, we're going to go through each one. And look, like we've done everything. You see the WWE, you see the AEW. We don't do tribalism here. We just don't. So we are actually going to pick a WWE and an AEW winner for each category because I'm not going to sit here and argue over somebody that one company's better than the other. I don't want to. It's our show. It's what we wanted to do. If you don't like it, hey, sorry.
2 tears in a bucket.
We're leaving that negativity in 2024. 2025 is all about positivity. We're going to look at both shows differently because let's be honest, they're different shows.
They are.
They're different forms of entertainment. You can't watch AEW and WWE and say that they're the same forms of entertainment. They're both wrestling, quote unquote, but they're different forms of entertainment. So we're going to do one for each category. So, and we agree, Brett, tribalism is no good.
None.
All right. So first up, the shocking moment of the year.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. And I think Sped, you're up first on this one. What do you have as the shocking moments of the year?
Well, see, I think you and I can agree on this. Okay. Biggie being New Day turning their back on Biggie, and
and don't pay attention to the comments. This is for the other people. I'm just
that's fine. And Brian Danielson and John Moxley and the BCC attacking Brian Danielson, right? And ultimately retiring him as well. But, I thought WWE wise, there was no more shock bigger than the New Day turning on Big E. Big E coming back, New Day looking like Woods was going to turn on Kofi, but the whole swerve at the end, that was beautiful in my book. I thought it was great. For shock factor, it was one of those like, oh, wow. I remember, what was it? X blew up for 3 days after that. Right after that, it was like 3 straight days. It was trending that, New Day turned on Big E. So they got people talking. And then the same thing happened with when John Moxley turned on Bryan Danielson, and they were holding back Wheeler Yuta, and he's like, no, no, no. Poetic, beautiful stuff. That's when we got the Death Riders. That's when the Death Riders were born, right there. So great stuff between these two. These are my two shocking moments. What's yours?
So I actually went with the same two. I know it doesn't look like the slide changed, but it did. My name's down there at the bottom. So these were my two shocking moments as well. Look, everybody knew somebody from the New Day was going to turn heel on the other.
Yep.
Nobody, I didn't see a single person on X. I didn't hear a single person on YouTube, any other platform say that both New Day members were going to turn on Big E like they did and shun him like they did. So to that I couldn't think of a more shocking moment. A close runner up would definitely be the Bronson Reed 6 tsunamis on Seth Rollins. I don't think I expected that. But just for the nostalgia shock from the New Day being at the 10-year anniversary and for both of them to turn the way it is and for the heat that they have gotten since, that definitely is to me the WWE shocking moment of the year. And kind of like you said, Mox turning on Bryan Danielson, it's one of those things that a lot of people saw coming, but not the way it happened.
Not the way it happened, right?
Yeah, nobody expected that level of evil and violence that happened. Because I'd seen a few people talk about, maybe Moxley's going to go off on his own. Maybe, they were going to do something else, especially when Danielson lost the match and lost the title.
Yep.
Because he was going to go away for a little while. But I definitely didn't expect an attempted murder on the screen. So when that happened, that definitely became my AEW shocking moment of the year.
What made it better next, that Bryan Danielson doesn't like plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, if you take it to his WWE character with the eco-friendly, that does add a little bit of context to it.
Yeah, he doesn't like plastic.
For the deep fans. Next up, you have faction or tag team of the year. We included both factions and tag teams just because I think it's easier that way, and it gave us more because I think we both kind of admitted that our tag teams would have been kind of the same.
Yeah.
So to do it a little different, we threw factions in there. Mine is up first. So my faction of the year in AEW, even though it's only been for a few months, is the Death Riders.
Yeah.
I like what they have done with this group. I like how they have taken over. I think they are poised to do a lot more in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
They have the chance to change the trajectory of AEW and change a lot of characters and kind of have a shift in some of the things they do. So definitely, I think they have made the most impact as an entire faction. You also have obviously the Young Bucks and the Elite are in there because of just all the championships they've had. There were some runners up for me. The Outrunners popularity, it's hard to get away from that as tag teams. But I decided to go with a faction and the Death Riders. My WWE is just the Bloodline as a whole. Yes, I am cheating and using both Bloodline and Bloodline 2.0 because you can't have one without the other at this point. So I do cheat a little bit. But the stories we've got out of these, the stars that have made, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and then everything else coming about, having CM Punk join, the whole thing with Paul Heyman, it was hard not to go with them as just a faction or tag team. If I had runners up in WWE, it would be Fraxium as tag teams. DIY, I see mentioned from Brett there. Motor City Machine Guns just haven't been around enough to be a whole year.
Not yet, yeah.
Nate's asking about the Judgment Day. That's a good shout too.
That's which Judgment Day though? Are we talking? Are we talking Damian Priest and Finn Balor, or are we talking that? If we're talking tag team, or are we talking the faction itself? That's what I was going through my head.
Fraxium was Stampede's tag team of the year, and if you have not seen Stampede, he's got a ton of awards out on his X page. If you will put your I can't remember what exactly the X handle is, Stampede. Put it up there, and I'll put it on the screen so everybody can go follow you. Revolution was his pay-per-view of the year. He has a lot of a lot of different favorites. He's got a lot of lists and stuff like that that are really cool, really fun to check out. It'll really open your eyes to stuff outside of WWE and AEW because he follows New Japan, he follows Stardom, he follows all indies. A really good wealth of knowledge there. So make sure you go follow him. As soon as his X handle, he puts it in the comments, I will put it up there. But moving on, Sped, your faction, or I almost said fraction, your faction or tag team of the year is?
All right, so I had Final Testament, all right, because I love what Karrion Kross is doing right now. Karrion Kross and this whole Final Testament stuff, yeah, we got a glimpse of what he's been doing with what he's about to do when he's been facing the Wyatt family. But look at what he's planted this whole time. The New Day destruction. The OG bloodline destruction. He's done a lot. He split up R-Truth and Miz. He divided and conquered, and I messed up this slide. But then in AEW, I agree with you on the Death Riders. Those guys are just killing it over there right now, man. It's really hard to pick anyone else. They're just changing the game each and every week. What was it yesterday? Yesterday, right? It was Dynamite.
Yeah.
He said he's the king, basically. And like he had people were talking bad about the promo. I thought it was a good promo. I didn't like there was another one, but either way, these two are my faction / tag team of the year. And yeah, you can't change my mind right now. It's there.
So Nate says he wants both from the Judgment Day, both forms of the Judgment Day, kind of like I did with the Bloodline.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you add the Miz to the Final Testament there since he's been there very recently?
I'm not going to add the Miz because the Miz isn't really relevant to the story anymore. Now the story is they took eye for an eye, basically. They got Miz out of that situation. Miz owes Cross. Yeah, I could go into this for a while. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And just to pay that off, so at David I'm guessing I'm going to say Robber 7174 on X. That is Stampede's handle there. It will say Stampede as his name. His Twitter pick is a Fire S. So you definitely go follow him. Go give him a follow. Check out a lot of the stuff he's got on there. Like I said, he looks way past AEW and WWE. So go check out his stuff. It's really cool.
I like his stuff. I respect it.
And the Death Riders was his faction of the year because I know you did a different faction and tag team, and really we did it, like we said, and for time purposes. Thank you, Herb and Raj podcast. Run is the best new show of 2024. Can't argue that. We appreciate it. Lady Alpha didn't know. Okay, we should have left that one off because it was just cleanup. Lady Alpha is the best fan. I agree with that. She is a big fan of Herb and Raj podcast, as well as us here in the Run-In and a lot of other shows. Herb is best looking. Herb giving out some of his stuff.
Yo, those two are funny on their show, man. I laughed the whole time.
Which leads into Raj being the goofiest looking. I don't know if that's a good category. Brett having connection issues, and we appreciate the timely award giving off to worst connection of the year as being Brett. So everybody gets an award here. Moving on to our next award, the breakout star of the year. Sped, you're up first. Who you got?
All right. So breakout star of the year. Oh, I had Chris Stratlander and Stephanie Vacour.
Wait, hold up. Why do you sound surprised by your own picks?
Because you said standout, and I was looking down at breakout. I was like, hold on here.
Did I say standout?
Yeah.
I thought I said breakout.
It threw me out when I saw breakout right there. I was like, broke out. I was like, oh, hold on. I see broke out and breakout right there, and I just got confused for a second. But yeah, no, I got Stephanie Vacour and Chris Stratlander. All right. Look what she's done. Okay, Chris. She's put on match after match that you think she's about to do something fantastic. Okay. She went from a female they took a chance on because WWE was like, no. We heard some. Oh, we heard some stuff that you did on X or whatever post that she made or whatever it was. Some trouble or whatever, but she has stood out in that AEW's really good women's division. Okay. And then jump over. You got Stephanie McCourt, who just came into NXT and said, "What's up?" To everyone. Her and Cora Jade, they're about to have a good match. But when she becomes champion, people are about to realize that she is the truth. So that's why I got her as my breakout. And Chris as well broke out. That just threw
Yeah. So and I apologize for the spelling errors. There's a couple spelling errors. We won't go into every one of them. But we're human. We're not the anyway.
Yeah. No.
Nate says Anna Jay and Roxanne were his breakouts. Stampede's breakout was Anna Jay. She was definitely on my list. Sped is the most easily confused host of the year by the Herbert Rod podcast.
Easy.
The most easily distracted as well.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
Have you not seen me?
All right. And my breakout stars of the year are Mariah May and Tiffany Stratton. Both, weren't really well known before this. Mariah May less so. She was, kind of with Toni Storm at the beginning of the year, broke out into her own character, became AEW Women's World Champion, was involved in one of the best storylines in AEW of the year. And before that, obviously nobody really knew who she was. She was out on the indies doing stuff and joined AEW, kind of had a match or two, got involved in that storyline and propelled that storyline along with Toni Storm into one of the best of the year. So to me, that is why she is the breakout. And Tiffany Stratton is really only a breakout for anybody who didn't watch NXT last year. So just that was more of a main roster thing. So I put her in there just because she had the pop at Elimination Chamber, everything else, winning Money in the Bank, being in one of the main storylines on WWE. So just that's one of the reasons I put that. And definitely Anna Jay could be on there. I also thought about Harley Cameron in AEW because she has been funny as hell all year. Obviously, you as long as she's been in the game, you can think about Chelsea Green, who nobody really knew a whole lot about outside of WWE, unless you followed a lot of the indies.
TNA, Lucha,
yeah. I mean, but for the wider audience, since these are mostly AEW or WWE breakouts, you could definitely say her. Yeah. Obviously, Jacob Fatu coming in. We talked about the Bloodline earlier. He was which shouldn't be on here because this is female, and I realize that now. We're going to move on. All right, the male breakout star of the year actually was Jacob Fatu for me and Tenosuke Katesh. I can't talk now.
I do. I messed his last name up
Takeshita. I know his name, and I still messed it up. Are my breakout stars of the year. Again, these are people who were well known in other venues other than WWE and AEW. Obviously, Jacob was in the Indies and GCW, things like that. Takeshita was in New Japan and all over the world, have come into these two companies and really taken storm. And we've talked about on here, Takeshita is probably one of the best wrestlers in the entire world, no matter what company he's in.
I think
but being introduced and being showcased to an American audience, to a more widespread audience than he ever has been. Same with Jacob coming in and making the impact that he's had. They were my male breakout stars of the year. Sped, who do you got?
Big Bronson Reed for WWE, because I didn't want to agree with everybody. All right, so I got Big Bronson Reed and Daniel Garcia, WWE and AEW. All right. Talk AEW first. Daniel Garcia winning a TNT title, coming from that stupid dance to actually winning the big one. All right. The guy has improved leaps and bounds since being he was part of the Inner Circle or whatever it was called with Jericho. Whatever.
One of Jericho's many factions that
he's been. You're right. But that he's improved so much, and people got to start putting some respect on his name. All right. Second, Big Bronson Reed, that guy, man. Where was he in 2023? Well, he wasn't really doing much early in 2024 either. They didn't even have him in his home country, did they? I don't remember him being on the Australia card.
Well, so he was in NXT. He got brought up for a minute and he's one of the people that got released and then got brought back from Triple H. He just wasn't used, got released and came back.
That's right. But yeah, no, Big Bronson Reed, man. Look what he's done. People forgot where what he could do. and then he showcased what he can do. He beat down Braun Strowman so bad. Braun Strowman had to go to SmackDown. Okay. So he beat Seth so bad. Seth can barely even breathe sometimes. Right. And it took a 20-foot drop, for his ankles to give out on him. Okay. That dude is resilient and he's going to be a champion. Watch. 2025 is going to be a good year for him when he comes back.
Definitely. Clean up some comments. So yes, we are live on multiple channels. We're on everybody from Chair Shot Sports, and I know Lady Alpha is on there. We all kind of stream each other's stuff on ours just to kind of have a wider platform. So you will see all of their stuff on my channel, all of other stuff on other channels as well. But yeah, we are on multiple YouTubes and multiple X streams. We are also on Twitch for Spedrock, SP3DROCK on Twitch as well. We are everywhere. You can't get away from us. No matter how hard you try, you can't get away.
I'm trying to get us on Spotify. Put that stuff right on there so that way people could be driving down the road and listen to us.
There you go. Brett had Shinsuke and Moxley.
Ooh, nice.
Let's see.
Shinsuke was a good pick. I like that one.
Nate had Fatu and Eddie Kingston. Kyle Fletcher was his breakout star. And I thought about Kyle Fletcher too, but I will talk about Kyle Fletcher coming up for another category. So I didn't want to include him in this as well. So just kind of being different. Let's see. I hope, we all do. We hope Big Bronson Reed heals very soon, gets back, because we want to see him back in the ring. He's destroying everything, doing what he says.
He's killing it on Twitter right now, or X. I'm sorry. He's killing it on X right now, man. He's hilarious.
And there's Brett saying he didn't see it. And Brett, that's why we put comments up. Sometimes I'll put a comment up, and then people may think, why are you putting that there? Because it doesn't mean, because I know the comments go fast a lot of times. And it's hard to catch everyone, and they time out. So that's why we put them up on the screen so everybody can see them. And if you're on one of those other channels, like if you're on X, you may not be able to see YouTube comments unless I put them up here. That's one of the reasons we try to shout out as many comments as possible while we do the show that we do, just to keep you guys involved, because we love having you guys around. We want to make sure everybody can talk to everybody, no matter what platform you're on. All right, moving on to the next category, most improved, which my most improved for 2024 is Sped outside of this category, but that's neither here nor there. But Sped, what do you have as your most improved females?
All right, I told you. As the breakout, it is Chris Stratlander. Resilience in high-profile feuds, including historic battles lately with Mercedes Moné. All right, I thought she was going to win that TBS title. She was so close. But listen, she's also my most improved. All right, and then I could not pick between one of these three females. All right. So I picked the whole shebang. All right. I picked Fatal Influence because where were they last year? Barkeeper, trying to figure out what's going to happen after Toxic Attraction and a new Chica. Okay. So, but look where they are now. One of the best factions that's going on in NXT in a stacked women's division. They still get their name on the card each and every week. Okay. These females are going to have a fantastic 2025. And if they break them up later on in the year, oh, man. Oh, those three are going to kill each other in the ring. It's been great to watch this.
Yeah, I agree. I've enjoyed both of them. Statlander being incredible. You can't argue with Fallon Henley and those ladies as well. But my most improved females of the year are Nia Jax and Toni Storm. Start out with WWE. Nia Jax was widely viewed as one of the worst professional wrestlers on the planet.
Yep. A
few years ago, with just the amount of injuries that happened with her matches, whether they be her fault or not. And look, she took a little bit of hit at War Games, but she did it for the right reasons. She didn't want to give unprotected headshots with the chair. Some of that got voiced out loud that maybe shouldn't have, and it made it look a little weird. But look, it's a mistake. It happens. 4 or 5 years ago, she'd have just hit Naomi or Bailey with the chair, hurt them, and not thought twice about it.
Nope.
The fact that she's thinking those things through just shows how much she's actually improved from where she would have just swung the chair, not thought about it, and went on.
Yep.
and then we would have had somebody else on the shelf for 6 months with concussions or worse.
Yep.
To me, Toni Storm, and this is not necessarily an in-ring improvement because she's always been really good in the ring, but her character development from last year being a part of the Outcast and just being in a group, before that being released by WWE, because while she did really good in matches, it just wasn't connecting to having one of the best characters in all of AEW in 2024, one of the best storylines. I mentioned it earlier with Mariah May, one of the best storylines in all of AEW with the Timeless Toni Storm gimmick. This is more of a character improvement for her than an in-ring because she's always been really good in the ring.
Yep.
But I couldn't go without acknowledging how much that has improved, breaking out on her own. And now the transition into the character you have now, where she has the amnesia or the repression, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just that development is amazing. Michael from Kicking Out at 2, we appreciate you joining us, Michael.
Thank you.
Definitely improved. The one bad match she had, and look, I'll agree. It's partly her fault. There are ways that you could have gotten around where it didn't look as bad. Because I agree with Stampede that those chair shots were horrible.
If you look back though, they're both out of position though. She's like,
"No,
you got to turn over." Yeah,
I get that, but there are ways around it. She could have kicked one of them. And we talked about it that week. There are ways around it that you could have made it look better in the ring, which she will learn going forward. I'm sure she learned from that mistake, and the next time she's in that position, instead of just screaming no at the person and badly swinging the chair, he will maybe kick them until they fall into a position to where she can hit them in the chair safely.
No, I feel that.
We're definitely not going to falter for that. But you can't go past without agreeing with Stampede. It was one of the worst chair shots you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, no.
And Toni Storm's one of the better characters. I agree with that. Obviously, from everything I just talked about.
Yeah.
So definitely my picks for most improved of the year. Moving on to most improved male, I have Sped's favorite Dominic Mysterio and Kyle Fletcher, which Stampede mentioned. This is where I've got Kyle Fletcher, just because again, I could have put him in Breakout and kind of swapped it up. I wanted to put him here because again, kind of the same thing I said about Toni Storm is the character breakout and the character change of getting away from Ospreay, getting away from Aussie Open, becoming, I guess you could say, his own man, even though Don Callis is still there. Yeah. That character development and that change of tone and character would just makes him the most improved. And then Dominic, the kid's getting better and better every year. I know we give Sped shit for liking him so much, but I'm not going to argue with the fact that the kid's becoming a great professional wrestler.
Yes, he is. Okay, finally.
And before we get to your Sped, we'll get to some of the comments. Nate has Dom and Mox. Wow. Very good picks. Brett has Dom and Ricochet are most improved. So Dominic Mysterio getting a lot of love from everybody but Sped here, which is pretty crazy.
Hold on, time out. I've been saying this all year. Dominic Mysterio has been the dude. He's been that guy. Okay, he's been the workhorse. He was the workhorse in 2023. He was a workhorse in 2024. All right, I don't have to give the man respect. I get crap for giving the man respect.
So and look, you're getting Michael was Kicking Out at 2 is right there with you. He thought Dom was already there.
Yeah, he
would actually go with Damian because of everything that has developed with him. So you got somebody in your corner.
Thank you,
Michael. Look, if you haven't watched the Kicking Out at 2 podcast, they do a great job there. I've watched them a lot as well. So make sure you follow Michael and Tori. They do a great show. Michael has seen a lot on Jesse that I mentioned earlier. He's on her show a lot. We hope to have him on our show at some point here in 2025 when we start having guests and things like that. So
that'd be cool.
Appreciate you joining us as well, sir. See, Dominic has come into his own, exceeded expectations, and actually, we kind of had a everybody but Sped's ode to Dom this time. So I don't know that we need a Sped.
No, you don't need
everybody else. And we may get it later on. There are still more wrestlers and more awards to go. So we'll see we'll see what's coming up. And then one last one before we move on to your picks for most improved male. And Dom is a workhorse.
He is a workhorse.
All right. And the time's come. Who is your most improved of 2024?
I did the same thing I did with AEW. I picked Daniel Garcia. Okay. I mean, come on, man. Like I said, when as a breakout, the guy went from Jericho's little side piece, dancing and doing some stupid stuff, to TNT champion and being serious and actually having good matches and actually doing pretty damn well on the mic. All right. And then Ridge Holland. Okay, folks. You can't say this man hasn't improved. He went from breaking Big E's neck to ending Chase U. And we can thank him for that because there's no more Chase U. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Ridge Holland. All right? You win most improved of the year just because of that.
So I can't argue with either one of those. I mean, I get it. I'm not as happy about Chase U being gone as you are, obviously. But definitely both have improved a lot. And at some point, I guess you're going to have to give us an ode because your odes are special.
My odes are special. I'll just have to record one.
And Brett's with me. How do you not like Chase? Look, you don't have to. You don't have to go into it. I know you talked. Brett, go back and watch about 3 shows ago. He explained why he didn't like Chase U.
It's because it's my
the Halloween Havoc show. Yeah. So yeah, go back and watch our Halloween Havoc show couple months or about a month or so ago, 2 months ago, I guess now, since it was in October, obviously.
Something like that. Yeah.
But we will move on to the best feud of the year. Sped, you're up first. Who you got?
All right, so it was really hard to pick a feud other than CM Punk and Drew McIntyre for WWE. Everybody knows why that was the best. I mean, they killed each other. Punk screwed him over numerous of times, even in his hometown. Drew kicked his butt so bad that we thought Punk wasn't coming back until Royal SummerSlam or Survivor Series. So, yeah, of course, that one wins Feud of the Year because they had stellar matches each and every time. But for me and AEW, all right, it was Private Party almost breaking up. Win, be champs, lose, not a tag team no more. And they finally, after 5 years, they finally get the job done. And that's my feud of the year because they beat Nick and Mac Jackson. They finally get the job done. They had, what was it, 2-3 great matches between the 4. So that was my feud of the year.
All right, there you go. So Stampedes was Hangman versus Swerve.
I like that
which
one.
we may get to in a second. We'll have to see. You've officially lost Michael's support because you don't like Chase U. He loves Chase U.
It's because I can't root for anybody who does this. Okay, Florida State University fan can't do it. All right, this is Miami, can't do it.
Brett was going to say Judgment Day and Damian Priest, but he's changing it to Punk and Drew, and he didn't put this in the comment, but it is 100% because of everything you just said. So congratulations, Sped. You convinced the hearts and minds of at least one person. Congratulations. If there was a worse feud, it's Liv versus Rhea. All right. I don't know that I would agree with that. Yes, because see, he even agreed because of Sped. There you go. Congratulations. I guess really now fun. I guess then I don't really have to say that my feud of the year is also Punk and McIntyre. Now, I did pick this before you did yours, so it's not because of Sped.
No.
But right. It is because of it's just been one of the best feuds. It has gone on almost all year. It has been the longevity of it. I looked at maybe Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, but it was more of a short time. And Bronson Reed feuded with a few people. You could obviously look at Roman and Solo, but it was again broken up a lot of the year. And Solo had gone to feuds with a lot of other people like Cody and everything else. And there was just a lot of kind of muddied waters in there. But Drew and Punk, during their feud, it always found a way to come back to them. Whether it was a match Drew was in, whether Punk was injured, it always came back to Punk and Drew until it was over.
Yep.
And even now that it's over, Punk and Drew still gets mentioned. Part of Drew McIntyre's motivation now is because CM Punk was there. That still pisses him off. So that definitely is the feud of the year. And I agree with Stampede. My feud of the year in AEW was Hangman and Swerve. Some of the best matches on the program for the year. The ferocity and the viciousness of it, just because I wanted to use a couple of big words to make myself sound smart. But I mean, when you burn a man's childhood home down, you hate each other.
Yeah, you hate each other.
I mean,
You hate each other.
you're hitting people with cinder blocks and syringes and everything else. You're trying to kill each other. You got to be feud of the year. Obviously, some of the we didn't do male and female because we just did just overall feuds. Definitely Tony Storm and Mariah May were in my top 3 on this one. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley were actually in my top, few there because I actually do like that feud. Yes, it's gone on too long. I agree. Don't yell at me. But it has been a great feud for 2024. Hopefully Monday night is the end of it in 2025 and they get to go do other things.
Yeah.
You could look at obviously all the Cody Rock, all that stuff, which we won't get a lot into because there's a lot of it. Yeah. But definitely there's a lot of honorable mentions that could be there.
Well, hey, real quick, this is going to be my OD, whatever, to Dom. I almost picked Dom versus Chicken Tenders as the best feud of the year.
But that's not a feud. They love each other. Dom loves chicken fingers. It's not a feud.
Fans are giving him terrible chicken tenders right now at live shows.
Then that would be Dom versus the fans because he doesn't hate chicken tenders. He just hates the one. It would be Dom.
Yeah, Dom versus the fans. There you go.
Which actually was a great feud with as much as they booed him during the year. So that actually would have been a good shout to be feud of the year.
But
people hated the man.
I did want to pick this match, the Hangman versus Swerve, but I didn't want to. Like I said, I didn't want to agree a lot with you, so I just started looking at other ones, and I almost picked Bailey versus Io early on because I really liked that feud. That was my top female feud of the year, right there. I thought you could drag it out a little bit longer between Io and Bailey, but they didn't. Yeah.
And I will say an underrated feud that not many people talk about when they talk about it is Carmelo and Andrade.
Oh yeah, that was a great feud.
The series they had going back and forth. That's a very underrated feud that they had with each other that a lot of people don't mention when they're talking about feuds of the year.
You're right. Oh, we're the best.
His female, Jada Parker and Lola Vice. That was a good one.
That was my second one right there. That was a great one.
Tony Storm and Mariah May, that was definitely up there.
Yep.
Braun and Jay. See, I wouldn't put necessarily Braun and Jay up there because you also had Braun and Sheamus. Braun had a lot of really good feuds. So I don't know that one would have stood out. But I mean, it's definitely they had great matches together though. So I mean, you can't discount that part.
Yeah, no, you can't.
All right, moving on to female wrestler of the year. I think I am up first on this one because I went last on the other one. My female wrestlers of the year are Io Sky and the previously mentioned Toni Storm. I will start with Toni Storm just because I've talked about her the most. I just kind of repeat what I've said most of the night. The best storyline in AEW to me. Definitely the best women's storyline in pretty much all of wrestling, I believe. Her character development, everything she's done, she's always been great in the ring. And she was probably right there with Mercedes until she came back with the new gimmick, the new character with the amnesia and everything. That kind of put her a little. And look, I know a lot of people hate on Mercedes because she's done a lot of the same thing, but you can't argue with her in-ring product. She's one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet.
Yeah, you're right.
Whether you like her character or not, if her character annoys you, that's her doing her job.
That's what she's supposed to do.
She was definitely close second to me. And in WWE, I went with Io Sky just because I actually just wanted to be a little different. I love Io Sky. I don't think she gets enough credit. A lot of people say Liv, a lot of people say Rhea, some people say Bailey, but I think everyone you mention as the wrestler who you think is wrestler of the year have great matches, and they're all with Io Sky because Io Sky is actually the greatest wrestler of the year in the WWE.
She might be the best
from a female perspective.
She might be the best female wrestler on the planet.
From what we see, I would agree with that. I kind of go there, so I don't know. Wrestler of the year is Sayri, who I don't get to see a lot. I'm guessing she is in Stardom or one of the other promotions. His North America is Mercedes Moné, which again I don't think you can really argue with. His WWE, which him and I actually talked about this, was Roxanne Perez. he actually had Io Sky second to Roxanne Perez, which I can't really argue with Roxanne being wrestler of the year either, because she's been awesome all year.
Fantastic. She's in my top 3 for real.
Yeah, definitely. But him and I had that conversation. I saw when he put Roxanne out, I actually was talking to him about this because I was debating in my head whether to go Roxanne, Bailey, or Io. And when I saw him put Roxanne, I kind of wanted to put Io, one, to be a little different, and two, when he said she was second, that kind of reinforced my thought that she was as good as I thought she was.
Yeah,
so thank you, Stampede, for that. I don't think I told you that part of it, but I appreciate your help there. And that is the comments. I will get to Lady Alphas after you mention your female wrestlers of the year.
We got Chelsea Green and we got Toni Storm. All right. The same thing you mentioned a million times over about Toni Storm. Her character work this year has been fantastic. The run that she had, second to none. You know, like she was the top star while holding that belt. I'm just saying. She made that belt feel better to me, bigger to me than the AEW World title, in a sense. Okay. Now, Chelsea Green is also my best for the WWE side. What she's done with her carrying character and gotten it over and gotten Piper over as well is just, it's crazy. It's really cool, actually, what she's done. The fact that once Nick Aldis had to put the belt around her waist and she's sitting there and she's smiling about it, I was like, yeah, that's the best female wrestler right now in WWE, because she's doing everything that WWE's asking her to do, but then she's doing it better, you know, and it's everything that she's done right now is gold. That's why she's my best wrestler.
All right. And Lady Alpha says she only has a worst female wrestler. So tell us in the comments who the worst female wrestler is. That way we can at least put it up there.
Do it.
So
hey, look at
Nate's
that.
is Saraya and Chelsea. There you go. And look, Chelsea Green was up there. She was up there in a few categories for me.
Yeah.
Obviously breakout, obviously most improved. I mean, there's a ton of stuff you could put her in. She's definitely, you know, one of the bigger stars. I definitely see more than just a U.S. title reign in her future, in my opinion. We will talk about, you know, kind of some of the things we want to see in 2025 coming up here later on. Wow, I didn't expect that one. So her worst wrestler is Lady Valkyria. I actually like or Lyra Valkyria. I don't know why I said lady.
Don't let Esteban see that. We gotta edit this.
She's allowed to have her opinion. If Esteban doesn't like it, that's fine.
I'm messing around.
But yeah, I definitely don't see that. I like Lyra. I mean, that's interesting.
I was gonna say
moving on. Yes, I know your relationship with Natalia.
How did this happen?
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch last 2 weeks ago's show about Natalia. It's pretty funny. All right, moving on to male wrestler of the year. You're up first on this one. Who is your male wrestler of the year?
All right, so this is me. Okay, yeah,
that's you.
We got Jacob Fatu because, man, when that guy came in, no one stopped talking about him. No one. And, you know, anybody who's watching him in MLW, they know what this guy's been about. And he's bringing it to a bigger platform, and he's shining brighter than what you thought, you know. I don't think anyone can honestly say Jacob Fatu isn't worth being a champion, be it U.S., Intercontinental, World Heavyweight, whatever, you know. But on the AEW side, Swerve, that man put on some matches, put on some promos. He watched his house get burnt down, and he had blood drank from his own forehead. You know, this dude went through hell and back, and still held that AEW World Heavyweight Championship like it was his baby, like it was Goldie, you know, to Tommaso Ciampa. You know, he wasn't letting go. So, yes, I picked these two guys. I like Swerve a lot. Big fan of Jacob Fatu. And I see big things coming for both of these guys in 2025.
All right. So before we get to mine, we will hit some comments. So Lady Alpha says she's slow and misses her marks a lot.
But, yeah.
That
I agree with that.
Michael says you can see Green is best, but he would go with Roxanne as well. And definitely from an in-ring standpoint, it's hard to argue that. I mean,
Yeah,
Roxanne's one of the best
Roxanne.
wrestlers.
She's on a
But
different level.
yeah, but Green's character work is top notch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nate's pick for male of the year would be Strickland and Punk. No argument with Punk there. The only reason I wouldn't have gone with Punk is just because he was hurt most of the year.
Yeah, good chunk.
And was
Good
gone.
chunk.
Same with Seth Rollins. You could put Seth Rollins in there. And Davey, I will put yours up after mine for one specific reason. And because my male wrestlers of the year are Drew McIntyre and Will Ospreay. So Drew McIntyre, just because, again, we talked about it in the feud, he's been there all year. Some of his character work has been some of the best of his career.
Oh,
if not all of the best of his career. His in-ring has gotten better. The new kind of ruthless character that he's gotten in the ring has definitely improved his overall product. I follow one of the first wrestling accounts I followed on Twitter is a female. She actually used to hate Drew McIntyre as a babyface, and now Drew McIntyre is one of her favorite wrestlers because of the change and improvement that he's had over the year. So that's why I kind of went with him over everyone else. As wrestler of the year, obviously you have CM Punk, you have, Seth Rollins, a ton of people in WWE you can pick. And then over the AEW side, which Will Ospreay was Davies. And that's why I just want to do that, because last time I put yours up there that agree with it. And since I let you go first on that one, Davey, I figured I wanted to go first. That way you didn't steal my thunder, because your opinion is a lot better than mine. So I had to go first on that one. But look, when people start talking about, and we'll get into it when we talk about match of the year, when I watch award shows, and I've done, what research I have on this, and you see people talking about matches of the year candidates, matches of the year winners, every single person that talks about it says so-and-so had their match of the year, and it was against Will Ospreay. Whether it's, Danielson, whether it's Moxley, whether it's Swerve, whether it's MJF, whether it's Kyle Fletcher, everybody has their match of the year against Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I feel that.
So what that tells me is Will Ospreay is just the best wrestler on the planet.
I feel that.
And I would actually put him above Drew on this and say he is the best match. He's the best wrestler on the planet to me. So I definitely would put him up there on AEW. And again, that makes me feel great that he agrees with me on there. I don't know if you can tell, but I really value Davey's opinion. Everything he reads is really cool. Drew and Ospreay for Brett. Appears 20 times on his, so he actually has 100 matches that he's ranked there. Actually, 20% of that is Will Ospreay. So it just kind of goes to show you, and that's not just Davey. That's any publication, whether it's Fightful or whoever else that I can't think of at the moment because my mind's gone blank. All of them have Will Ospreay at least 10 times on their match of the year candidates. So it's hard not to put him as the best wrestler on the planet. And moving on to the match of the year, I will start out with Drew. And that's different. Sorry. Match of the year is Punk McIntyre 2 or 3 for Nate. Let's see. Does anybody else have match of the year before we start talking about ours? I think that's the only one who's put that on there now. And I think I am up first. My matches of the year. That's you first. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah. I really enjoyed the Bayley versus Io match. Told you guys. I had that real high on my feud of the year, best feud of the year category. And I really enjoyed that match. I thought beginning to end, story was told perfect. Those two really went all out in the ring. A lot of people would be like, oh, well, we've been talking a lot about the male side and what they've been doing. I feel like, a lot of the males got picked for the best feud, for, a lot of things, best faction, stuff like that. Well, this match stood out to me as the best female match on the WWE side. Okay, on the WWE side. Now, for the AEW side, it was the shock. It was a shock factor for me. It was the last match, the retirement match. It was the Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley in his hometown or home state of Washington, and Tacoma. And Bryan losing that the way he did, and then getting his butt whooped again in front of his hometown. I mean, it was emotional throughout, and that's why it's my match of the year. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Get to. So the 100 top matches is actually over 15 different promotions. That just kind of gives you an idea of the amount of wrestling Stampede watches, and goes through to get some of his awards and some of his opinions, which is one of the reasons I respect it so much, just because he has a wealth of knowledge there. Punk McIntyre cage match was Lady Alpha's match of the year. Stampede was Danielson Swerve. Runner up was Ospreay and Danielson. His WWE is the Hell in a Cell with Drew and Punk, which I will let lead into my WWE match of the year. It was Punk and Drew, Hell in a Cell. I mean, obviously, it was my feud of the year, and this was the best match of the best feud of the year. So it's a no-brainer for me to put that there. EO and Bailey was a great match. You had a lot of other really good matches that that you could have put on there. I really enjoyed the Women's Iron Survivor match a couple months ago. That was a really good match.
That was nice.
I enjoyed the War Games match with the Bloodline. That was high up there, and then you move over to AEW. Like I said, most of my matches of the year that I started going through had Will Ospreay in them. But just to pick a favorite of those, just because it's more just my favorite, not necessarily the best match, but it's my opinion. I enjoyed the Ospreay MJF match from 250, the one that was the hour long. I thought it was better than their second match. I really enjoyed it. Just one of my favorite matches of the year.
No, I feel that.
Brett agrees there. All right,
See,
and that does it.
Going with the male side on that. That's why I went female.
That's true. And look, you got to look at also Mercedes and Stat, either one of them.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
So Stampede had a couple of them there.
There you go. There it is. So, oh my God, I gotta watch that one still. Starlight Kid.
So Michael will actually give theirs on their award show tomorrow night.
Okay.
Michael, make sure you put what time in the comments. That way I can tell everybody what time your show starts. They can tune in tomorrow night for Kicking At It 2 with Michael and Tori, where they will do their awards for 2024. But yeah, that's all of our awards. Everything we've got. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for your comments there. We will get into some cleanup like we do every week and go into our Matchmaker series, which is some of our award winners. You've got Jacob Fatu versus Swerve Strickland versus Drew McIntyre versus Will Ospreay in this week's Matchmaker series, what we will call the Run-In Awards Show Special. Sped, you're up first. Who you got?
Will Ospreay. It was going to surprise some people. I thought about this since I did it. This is going to be one brutal match, man. It's going to be a great match, though. I see the ending going down with Will hitting some crazy ass move off the top rope and at 1, 2, 3. I don't know on who though, because none of these guys should be able to take a pin anytime. But I'm picking a winner. I'm picking Will Ospreay. You changed my mind a few times. I was gonna go Jacob Fatu, but you are right. He might be the best wrestler in the world right now. I'm gonna have to go Will Ospreay.
All right. There's a message strictly for you, and from Anvil92 there on Twitch.
I didn't even see that. What's going on? How you been? I forgot they know my name.
Let's see. Drew McIntyre is who Brett thinks would win, and there is Kicking Out at 2 is tomorrow at 7:30 Central, and their special guest, Princess Skywalker Jess, who I've mentioned previously is part of the Chairshot Sports Group. So make sure you tune in for their special guest. Let's see. Ospreay could very well end up in the #1 spot of all time. Yeah, definitely agree with that. He could be the best wrestler ever. Definitely hard to argue there. But as far as this match in the Matchmaker series, I actually think Jacob Fatu wins.
Oof.
Which is saying that's funny enough that you actually switched to Osprey.
Yeah.
But I actually think Fatu would win. And it's mainly because of the year Will Ospreay's had.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this more from a booker standpoint than a fan standpoint.
No, I feel that.
You know, a lot of Ospreay's best matches this year have been losses because he has put over a lot of other people.
Yep.
I think he would do that here, and put over Jacob Fatu. I think Swerve Strickland would do the same thing, just like he's done a lot of times this year. Drew McIntyre being the big heel of the group, I think he would get taken out by Strickland and by Ospreay early on, leaving them both to take on Jacob Fatu, and then Jacob Fatu goes crazy on both of them and wolfs up for the Samoan Werewolf and actually pins Will Ospreay, kind of continuing Will Ospreay's 2024 of not only being the best wrestler in the world, but also being the most selfless wrestler in the world by putting over other people above himself, which he has done multiple times over the year, which is one of the reasons I respect him so much. So that's who I think would win.
I feel that.
Michael thinks Michael goes with Strickland. Look, and that's the fun thing about these matchmakers is there is no wrong answer. Yeah, there is no wrong answer.
Yeah.
You can go up with a scenario where any one of the four guys can win.
Easy. Very easy.
And thank you for Sped putting that together for our matchmaker series. That is something we do every week towards the end of the show. Next up, we normally have the Twitter post, but we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to look ahead to what we want to see from each company in 2025. Before we do that, I will get to Brett. So Brett, it is Kicking Out at 2 podcast. So go follow him there. Him and Tori, and like you said, they're the normal host. They have guests quite a bit. I know Jess has been on there a few times. Yeah, really good show. I've watched it quite a few times, and they're very good. All right. So getting into 2025, Sped, give me one good thing you want to see from both companies in 2025.
All right. You guys are going to hate this. Dominic Mysterio as IC champion. That's what I want to see, son. I want to see it. I want to see Dominic Mysterio as IC champion.
You're lucky I don't have to go back so far to find the ode to Dom comment.
Yeah, right? I want to see it. It needs to happen. You know, I know the slow babyface turn's happening right now. And I think that new Judgment Day theme is going to be the new street trash theme, because I still see them wearing the street trash stuff. But if you've been watching some of the WWE Holiday Tour stuff, it seems like the slow turn's going to be really slow, all right? Because it seemed like he was leading the heels to beat up CM Punk, all right? So let's give him IC title. Let's give this man the title he deserves, the Intercontinental Championship. And then in AEW, it's time to give, I'm going to screw his name up, and I'm sorry in advance, Takesha the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. World Heavyweight Championship. Give the man the title.
All right. So to me, and again, you guys in the comments, let us know what you want to see. And also going back to Brett's comment, Michael, I actually agree with Sped because I think Finn Balor would crumble.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. We got a new sub. Thank you.
Let's see, AEW, a C1, that would actually be really cool. Women's Continental, a women's tournament like that.
That would be dope, yeah.
In WWE, wants to see the mid-card talent build up consistently in the men's and women's. I completely agree. And I think that will definitely happen in the women's with the introduction of the mid-card titles. I think that will give them a little bit more teeth in the mid-card to improve there. And that kind of leads me into what I want to see in WWE, and I want to see more wrestling. You know, we're about to go back to the 3-hour Raw and 3-hour SmackDown, and as much as I like WWE and I like the entertainment value and factor of it, I want to see more wrestling.
Yep.
I want to see a little bit longer matches for some people. I want to see more matches. Get more people on the card. Backstage segments are great and vignettes are great. And again, I love it. I've watched WWE pretty much all my life, but let's get some more wrestling in 2025.
No, I feel that. I do feel that.
And as far as AEW, which I think they're already doing, I know they did it last night. Keep up with the smaller venues.
Yeah.
Having a packed crowd on TV helps your television product and will help your ratings. It will help every bit of it. People don't really put that together. That having a full crowd makes a difference on TV, but it makes it look a ton better. You watch NFL football as opposed to some of the other football leagues that are out there, and you see the empty stands. It impacts your viewing pleasure
Yeah.
of the game.
Oh yeah.
So having those smaller, intimate venues and having full crowds and having louder crowds should definitely be one of the things that they continue to do and continue to focus on in 2025. I guess I could go the opposite way where I want to see more vignettes and stuff in AEW too. But you know what? I mean, it is what it is. They've started doing that some already, so I didn't want to harp on that too much.
No, I feel that.
But that's definitely something I wanted to see AEW do is stick with that, keep improving your production, whether it be the camera angles you have, because the sky's the limit. Because you already have, and I know I'm going to get crap from WWE people for this, you already have the best wrestling in the world on AEW, and I truly believe that. It is truly where the best wrestle, despite what some people say. You just got to put the rest of it together to get more viewers.
Yeah, I feel
And
that.
And as much as we say, sorry, my brain went blank. As much as we say ratings don't matter, AEW lost their third show, Shockwave, because Fox saw the ratings and didn't go with it. So ratings matter. We don't harp on it a lot. We don't talk about it a lot because I don't want to kill them, but they matter. And everything you can do to come up is even better.
Brother, remember for a while there, I was praising AEW's viewership numbers, how they were steady. Yeah. They were really steady, and I liked it. But AEW in 2025, that things look really good for them. They're on the right ship, going the right way.
Definitely, and they've got the in-ring product to do it.
Yep.
Michael says he wants more consistent storytelling in AEW. Completely true. Ring of Honor getting a TV or streaming home, definitely. Ring of Honor being on TV more would help, just because it gives them more time to breathe and tell those stories. You're not having to throw a lot of Ring of Honor people on AEW, kind of like they do now. WWE partnering with more companies, I think that would be really good. But again, as long as they just wrestle more. I want to see him partner with people and get people in ring.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason that Triple H is doing the TNA and all of the partnering stuff like that, because he wants to get people reps. Then let's see them.
Just don't give me John Cena versus Logan Paul.
And unfortunately, let's see. Nate says, do you think AEW invades WWE? No.
No.
Not anytime in the next decade.
No.
That
would screw. TNA is on the freaking. They're about to be up there.
I want to be able to watch TNA. Like the network they're on now, I can't find anywhere, and I've got almost every streaming platform that you can buy, which I need to cut back on in 2025. But I would just like them to be on TV that I can watch every week, because they've got a good product.
They got a great product, a fantastic product over there.
AEW is never going to work with WD in the current regime. I would say that goes both ways. I don't think WWE wants to work with AEW with their current regime either. But it's definitely closer today than it was 3 years ago, and it'll be closer 10 years from now than it is today.
Yeah,
wrestling is definitely a business that you have to learn the phrase "never say never."
Yeah, you're right.
Because anything can happen.
You're right.
So that is our first episode of 2025, everybody. We appreciate it. I will let Sped kind of close it out, because we are going to do something a little different, and I am actually going to have the final word this week. So, Sped, I will let you say your goodbyes and tell everybody where to find you.
Yo, Anvil, thank you for coming back in. First off, I haven't seen you in a while, and it's been good. And if you guys want to go over to X, follow me at Spedrock. You see it right there, SP3DROCK. Thank you guys for a great so far 13 shows. It's been fantastic. We will be here every Thursday doing this, me or him. And thank you guys, for real.
All right. And something a little new. You've seen Sped's final word in all of our episodes. We are going to switch it up in 2025. This week is the final word with Big Mike. And, and look, we talked about it earlier. I mentioned at the beginning of the show. It's 2025. It's a new year. Let's leave the negativity in 2024. If you're a fan of AEW and you don't like WWE, don't watch WWE. If you're a fan of WWE and you don't like AEW, don't watch AEW. There's no reason to get on X or Twitter or Facebook or anywhere and just bash a company just to bash a company. Let's all grow a little bit and all be better in 2025 and start out more positive. So let's leave all the I want AEW to die or I want WWE to die in 2024 and all come together and just say we love wrestling. Whether you watch one or watch both, it doesn't matter. Let's just keep 2025 positive and keep 2025 full of wrestling. So thank you guys. Have a great night and a great 2025.